All right, we're about to pull back the curtain on one of the most expensive and honestly most ignored pieces of equipment in your entire home. Let's dive in. So let's just start with a quick question, one that gets right to the point. What do you think is the single most expensive appliance in your house to replace? The fancy fridge, the stove?
Yeah, it's almost always your heating and cooling system. Today, we're going to unlock an expert's guide to this powerful, absolutely vital, and let's be real, often mysterious system that's at the very heart of your home, your HVAC.
I want you to stop thinking of your HVAC system as just an appliance. Think of it more like your home's lungs and its entire circulatory system. It's this invisible engine running all the time, basically dictating your comfort and, as we just saw, a huge piece of your budget. Now, here's something really interesting. Your local environment, where you live, might be waging a kind of secret war on this engine. And to see exactly what I mean, we're going to zoom in on one town, Gladstone, Missouri, as our case study. It really turns out that your zip code is like a secret code for the kind of stress your system is under every single day. I mean, the challenges in a hot, dry place like Phoenix are totally different from a place that has these insane seasonal swings. Let's look at the actual data for Gladstone. In the summer, you've got 90+ degree heat, okay, but then you pile on this oppressive 70% humidity. That forces the AC to do two jobs at once, cool the air and rip gallons of moisture out of it. Then, boom, winter hits. We're talking temperatures below 20 degrees, pushing the furnace to its absolute breaking point for weeks. It's just a brutal 1-2 punch. And get this, it's not just about the weather up in the air. The ground itself is part of the battle. In a place like this, the clay soil actually shifts, and it can literally stress and crack the ductwork that's hidden away in your walls. Then you add in older houses with old, inefficient systems, the physical damage from freezing and thawing, and even just road dust clogging up your filters, and you've got a system that is under constant assault from every angle. So when all these stressors start to win the fight, your system doesn't just, die silently. It actually sends out alarms. These are symptoms, ways your house is trying to tell you something's wrong. So let's decode some of the most common ones. You ever seen this? An outdoor AC unit that's just covered in a block of ice? In the middle of July. It looks like it's working extra hard, right? But the truth is, it's actually suffocating. That ice is a dead giveaway that airflow is being choked off, probably by a dirty filter or it's low on refrigerant. The system just can't breathe. Okay, how about this one? That one room in your house that's always freezing cold or unbelievably hot. You know the one. That's not some quirky personality trait of your house. It is a classic textbook sign that the air you're paying good money to cool or heat is escaping through leaky ducts before it even gets where it's supposed to go. And this is where it really hits your wallet. You get that electric bill in August and it's just shockingly high. That is a massive red flag. It very often points directly to a system that's, again, struggling to breathe because of dirty, clogged coils. It has to run non-stop just to try and keep up, wasting money every single minute. So, how does a real pro go from just looking at a symptom to actually solving the root problem? Well, they don't guess. They use a very specific toolkit of calculations and procedures to find out what's really going on. And it all starts with this thing called a manual J load calculation. Now, forget about brand names for a second. This is the architectural math that truly matters. It's basically a thermal blueprint of your specific home. It measures everything from windows to insulation to figure out exactly how your house gains and loses heat. It's the only way to know the exact size system your house actually needs. And look, this is so important. A system that's too big will slam on and off all day, which wastes a ton of energy and does a terrible job removing humidity. One that's too small will run itself into an early grave just trying to keep up. Getting the size right, it's everything. Any professional service call should feel this transparent and straightforward. First, a thorough diagnosis to find the real problem. Second, you get a clear written quote that you have to approve before any work begins. No surprises. And finally, after the repair, they run the system through a full cycle to prove to you that the fix actually worked. So all this information leads to that one big question, the one every single homeowner eventually has to face. Is it smarter to keep dumping money into repairing an old system, or is it finally time to replace it? Now, this can feel like a really stressful, emotional decision. But experts have a simple formula that helps take the emotion right out of it. It's called the $5,000 rule. You just take the cost of the repair and multiply it by how old your system is in years. Let's just walk through a quick example. Let's say you have a 15-year-old system and it needs a $400 repair. Okay, so you multiply 400 by 15 and you get 6,000. Because that number is over the $5,000 threshold, it's a really strong financial signal that you're probably just throwing good money after bad. Investing in a new, more efficient system is probably the smarter long-term play. But of course, the best way to deal with that huge, expensive decision is to avoid having to make it for as long as you possibly can. And that all comes down to prevention. Seriously, think of regular maintenance like an oil change for your car. It is the best insurance policy you can buy for your system. A good technician catches the little problems before they turn into those catastrophic, middle-of-the-night failures. It keeps the system running efficiently, which lowers your bills. And here's the real kicker. Most manufacturer warranties are totally void if you can't prove the system has been professionally maintained. So when you really think about it, understanding your home's invisible engine, it gives you all the power. You can protect your comfort, you can protect your budget, and you can protect one of the most valuable assets in your home. It really just comes down to a simple choice. Is your HVAC system an asset you're actively maintaining, or is it a liability you're just ignoring?